Joins us live now in studio. Nosipho, good to have you in studio with us. Good afternoon. Let's start with this particular briefing, especially because of that jet fuel crisis. I mean, we heard of a broken drive shaft. What else do we know?
Yeah, indeed, Bongiwe. So that issue came up because of the delays and cancellations of flights. Obviously, passengers very frustrated, but we heard from ACSA that they have dealt with that issue. So far, they've put in contingency measures. So what happened was this drive shaft shattered or broke, and now it's been sent to the labs for tests. And those analysis, once that analysis comes back, then they'll know what had happened. But in terms of the possibilities of what happened, there's several, and that includes whether that shaft, there was an issue around torque, and I believe that speaks to the speed of this sort of mechanism. Then there was also the other possibility that could have happened. What went wrong is temperature issues, or there was an acidity issue. So all of those issues, either one of them, once they get an understanding of what happened, then they can take it forward. But we know from ACSA said that, you know, they were prepared for the festive season travel, the high volumes of people coming into the airport at OR Tambo, a busy airport. But it was unfortunate that this shaft incident or this dry shaft incident happened because ACSA, you'll know, from between 2019 and April this year, couldn't really implement sort of its infrastructure plans. But now that's been gazetted in January this year, in April this year, also that was pushed through in budget. So what we know then is that this money is coming out in tranches, that 21.7 billion rand from Treasury, and that will be used to ensure that they can refurbish infrastructure, and part of that infrastructure is that jet fuel system and that shaft that broke. But just finally, before I sort of wrap up, in terms of that, they've been allocated already 70% of that amount, of that 21.7 billion rand.
All right, it sounds like they're on track. But when it comes then, Nosipho, to, you know, some of the travelers, of course, there's a little bit of apprehension, but they did mention that people need to come to the airport early because there was, of course, the challenge around the biometric movement control system by BMA. Let's talk about this very critical aspect as they're expecting an influx of visitors.
That is indeed true. So we know in terms of that influx, as you mentioned earlier, 380,000 people expected between today and Christmas Eve. So that's a lot of people coming in and that need to be processed. So with the biometric system, that's more towards the international travel side. So they have to make sure that people coming into the country, are they desirable, to use the words of the BMA, to come into the country. We know just in terms of tomorrow, there's around 10,000 or around 19,000 rather passengers, international passengers expected to arrive into South Africa. December being the peak period, that's when a lot of people will be coming in. So that issue with the biometric sort of passport system, that was a technical glitch. There were sort of technicalities behind that, but now they've got more systems. I understand around 14 more systems have been brought on. 4 are already online, and more will be put online as the festive season progresses. And so that will ensure then that there's that seamless movement then of people coming into the country, and we don't have an issue that we had again over the weekend where people were sort of left with extra delays or sort of extra time to pass through the border. So usually it should take about, if I'm correct, between 5 and 10 minutes. But on that day when there was a technical glitch with the system, people were waiting for about 30 to 40 minutes. And so you can see how passengers would be frustrated with that. But the BMA confirming, you know, that it has systems in place. It's also got people on the ground, more boots on the ground to ensure that passengers or travelers are processed seamlessly.
So they don't anticipate any issues?
From their side, they don't anticipate any more issues. They're confident that all the measures that they've put in place following these delays or disruptions, that all of that has been sorted out. And so going forward, we should see a bit of a seamless movement of people this festive season.
Well, we can trust that you'll be at the airport. Should anything go wrong, we can trust you to be our eyes and ears, but certainly hoping that, you know, the systems, all of them are in fact watertight. Thank you so much for that update, that very comprehensive update there. My colleague, SABC News reporter, Nosipho.